Now, when we're color sealing, and usually in general, I like to start at the borders all the time. So one of the techniques that we'll actually be using is coming against this line, and we're using the edge of the cone spray to kind of define where we're spraying, and we're going to hit this lip. Okay, this will make it easier to avoid overspray when we're using that big pump. All right, so going around the borders with the pump up sprayer is really a great way to save overspray, to keep you from using too much of the material on these edges. When you use these at the sidewalks, it makes you having to use something like a spray shield a lot less necessary because you can control this and you can keep your angle in such a way where you're not spraying the concrete. Now that we have our borders done, the idea is to create a sweeping motion from side to side, letting the trigger on and off. And we're going to use this fan angle to blend in to the area we just cut in with the pump up sprayer. One to two passes. We're already bringing back the depth of color. The first stage is again getting this gray color established so we have a nice dark base. So one of the ideas is that we do as far as we can reach before we have to move the car, and then we're going to feather in that area. Okay, again, it's a very simple back and forth on off motion. In most cases you're staying waist high unless you're next to a house and it's a super windy day. So we're going to move the cart. You can see this nice dry space. I'm going to move the cart a nice distance away so I can still reach that space that's dry and go get all the next areas. Come on with me, let's take a look. So you can already see that the difference, and this is just this first, second coat-ish on this. And once we come up to here, this is really dry. We have this one section that we've already hit with our pump sprayer. And this is only the first color, guys. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna park you a little bit closer and we're gonna get the rest of this section. So anytime we're gonna be using this battery powered pump and we're gonna be spraying along the wall in the house. Now we've already cut it in with the pump up sprayer, but we're gonna make sure we're using this spray shield, and the idea is to be spraying within this zone. We're not going past 6 inches towards the edge here or here. So we're always going to be in the center with this, okay? In a second, I'll show you some up close techniques with this. Now after we've got a path established, I'm not going to be so down on the edge of this. I'm going to kind of be a little bit more loose. spray shield is that the wind can still pick it up and take it onto that garage door. We don't want that to happen. So in some cases, like in pools and that sort of thing, you're going to want to use maybe a sponge or a foam roller. I still like to hit coping with a light pump up sprayer, okay? And in this case, yes, we're going to seal these stones, okay? And yes, there is a little bit of color in this sealer. It is going to look pretty nice. These were black when we started. In this case, it's okay. So in this area, we're definitely going to use the pump up sprayer because I don't want too much fluid going down near the walls, near the entrance foyer. We want to be delicate with it. Okay, we're going to make sure we get the outsides of the stones. These are the areas where it really makes sense to use less pressure and be using something like a pump up sprayer versus some kind of battery powered unit. Again, you're keeping this spray action between the center and not towards the edges, okay? The only time you use the edge of this shield is when you have great control over the fluid, and you can eke just a little bit out into a corner, okay? To make sure you get the outside edge of the steps, of the coping, okay? Don't be stingy. All right, so all along this wall, we're gonna go ahead and cut it in.